Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our major stories. Court of Appeal upholds the victory of APC candidate in the 2018 governorship election in Osun State. Adegboyega Oyetola, PDP vows to approach Supreme Court over verdict. President Buhari reappoints Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele for a second 5-year term, writes Senate for confirmation of decision. Police rescues 27 victims, including 5 Chinese nationals kidnapped in Niger State on April the 15th, but found in a forest in Kaduna State. And the United States seizes North Korean coal ship for allegedly violating international sanctions amid rising diplomatic tension between both countries. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and go to youtube.com/channelsweb to view our videos. Watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature, so you can use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. 4 bodies have been recovered from an abandoned iron company septic tank in Odogiyan, Ikorodu area in Lagos. 2 of the bodies were identified as those of the Bureau de Change operators kidnapped last month. One of the suspects who led operators to the den explains that other bodies exhumed were that of rival cult members in the area.
An abandoned iron production company sitting on acres of land in Odogunyan, Ikorodu area of Lagos. No one seems to be aware of the level of violent crime going on behind this high fence. The heavy downpour did not make the journey easy for everyone. The suspect, Mayowa Olawuni, leads operatives of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS to his group's den, where 2 Bureau de Change operators were killed after he and his gang collected $10,000 from them and another 1.6 million naira ransom from their family. An overwhelming stench oozes in the entire area as decomposed bodies already submerged are rumped out.
They collect 3 guns from me. So we are 5 in number that very day that do the kidnapping issue. So after that very hour in the night, so we bring them in. When I bring them in, they just tie them, sellotape on their hands and their mouths. So that is how they kill them.
The son of one of the victims, an accounting undergraduate, is asking for justice for the killers of their breadwinner.
I feel bad. I'm not really happy because that's the only dad I have. It's the only one that makes me happy. Every morning that we wake up, we know that someone is missing in our house, which is my dad. Because he take care of us very well. No one can take care of us like him. No one. No one can take care of us like him. I love my dad so much.
The police command speaks on the next level of action.
The suspects are facing charges of conspiracy, kidnapping, and also murder. So definitely after this investigation, they will be charged to court.
The recovered bodies have been deposited at the morgue, but the story leaves behind a cause for concern, particularly on the need for government to act fast on abandoned structures spread across the country, serving as homes for kidnappers and armed bandits.
And staying with security matters, the Nigeria Police Force says operatives of Operation Puffadder have rescued 27 kidnapped victims, including 5 Chinese nationals. The Chinese citizens who were said to have been kidnapped on April the 15th in Bobi, Niger State, were rescued on May the 5th from a forest in Biringwari, Kaduna State, following air and ground surveillance. The Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Frank Mba, who received the foreigners in Abuja, said 2 of the kidnappers died from gunshot wounds. during an exchange of gunfire with the police in the course of the rescue operation. He further explains that 22 other kidnapped victims were also rescued in Zamfara State and other parts of the country, adding that the Inspector General of Police has rolled out new counter-kidnapping operational strategies. The Benue State government has given a 7-day ultimatum to Ado Traditional Council in Benue State to fish out those allegedly responsible for the killing of 4 persons in Benue State. The killing is said to be a fallout of the protracted boundary dispute between Aguilar community in Benue and Ngwo community in Benue State. While briefing journalists in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, after an emergency security council meeting, Governor Samuel Otom says his Ebonyi State counterpart, Mr. Dave Umahi, is also taking measures to unravel those behind the act.
With the decisions we have taken from the State Security Council today, security will be restored in Benue State. And so that is a signal that we are sending not just to Ado local government, but the entire state, that if you have criminals or militia within your domain, you should expose them. And there are no doubts. This is not the first time it's happening. It has been happening. And we are discussing with Ebonyi State. And it is not just restricted to Benue State. It's the same thing with Ebonyi State. If people are found culpable in that area, they will say their story. We are giving the directive. We expect that within 7 days, the traditional ruler from Ado should also tell us what he has investigated. If those people are there, he should bring them.
The House of Representatives is mandating the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of Nigeria to intensify efforts at ensuring full implementation and compliance to the Treasury single account policy by all ministries, departments and agencies. The House took the position after considering and approving the report of an investigation that focused on assessing the proceeds of the Treasury single account to enhance transparency, accountability and good governance. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi has this report.
Lawmakers in the House of Representatives set to consider the legislations laid out for the day. The House also considered reports from several committees.
Treasury single account.
One report considered is that of the ad hoc committee that investigated the operation of the Treasury single account policy. The House then went into clause-by-clause consideration of the report.
We start with recommendation 1, carried. 2.
Some of the recommendations are that the Ministry of Finance, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, and the Central Bank of Nigeria should intensify efforts to enforce full implementation and compliance with the TSA policy by all ministries, departments, and agencies. That MDAs which have violated the TSA policy should be sanctioned accordingly, and that there should be a legislation to guide and strengthen the enforcement of the TSA policy.
Considering the report of the Public Accounts Committee.
The House also considered the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the annual report of the Auditor General for the Federation.
The report has 490 clauses. It is the Auditor General's report for 2010. And perhaps let me just briefly draw attention to the fact that this is the first time the National Assembly is considering the report of the Public Accounts Committee since the inception.
And then the clause-by-clause consideration of the report.
Okay, recommendation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 200.
Until finally it was over.
481, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
490.
490.
Don't finish.
Finish.
Speaking afterwards, the chairman of the committee outlines some of the recommendations contained in the report.
There are several recommendations. Some of the agencies, of course, we recommended that the EFCC should investigate further some of the complaints that came before us. And there are recoveries too that were made, which it's over ₦1 billion.
It is expected that the report will also aid the economic development of the country. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Let's move over to Abuja studios where Ibrahim is standing by with more stories.
Many thanks, Melinda, and good to see you. Now, the envoys of the Netherlands and the French have been explaining the plans of their countries to do more business in Nigeria. But there are some concerns over the security situation. The envoys visited the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike today at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Governor Wike, on his part, explains that some of oil majors in the state are allegedly empowering youth groups to protect their facilities, causing rivalry and clashes in the state.
It is a Dutch gift to Governor Nyesom Wike from the interim ambassador to Nigeria. And that appears not to be the only thing on the mind of the Netherlands envoy. She is also here to remind the governor of his campaign promises.
Very interesting promises, especially for me. One of them is extremely interesting, promising a 40% women in the political appointments. Another one is also very interesting and a very strong promise, is to appoint 60% youth in the political appointees.
The governor explains the numbers and promises to press for more women in his new government.
But I made promise of 20% for women. In essence, you are going to have more than 20%. But it will be a war, we'll fight it out. Because we believe that women have shown capacity. Women have shown capacity and we must encourage them.
Meanwhile, the French ambassador to Nigeria is also here. It takes on the angle of security.
Every time I try to convince French businessmen to come to Nigeria, the first question is, oh, but security. So I know we're very concerned by this, you are very active, but as you very much aware, this is of course one of the, probably the main concern of the French community here in Rivers.
For the governor, some oil majors have questions to answer as well, as regards the security situation in the state.
Part of the problem again is the companies encouraging these cultists by empowering them, by giving them jobs. And with those jobs, they acquire more weapons. So we have taken a drastic decision with the security agencies in our last Security Council meeting. All surveillance jobs, we must know who are those doing those surveillance jobs.
These diplomatic visits also sends the message that all, including the international community, are keeping a close eye on the trend of things in the state and the country. Emmanuel Irene, Channels Television News.
Many thanks, Emmanuel. We'll take a break now, but when the news return, Minister of Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enalama, clears the air on safety of funds for the establishment of the Special Economic Zone Company. That's in our business package. Do join us again.